G'day, guys, and welcome back to Primal Waters. Now, I'm going to go over a few stories that go back to mid-January after there's been several incidents in South Australia, and after these incidents or previous incidents, this topic gets brought up all the time. But probably in the last month, there's been a lot of talk about it. Now, first up, I'm totally against this. Great whites are I'm pretty passionate about, but obviously we've got to talk about the stories and let people know what's going on. So, Allison Mayor calls for a targeted approach as South Australia records 6 shark incidents in the last 8 months. Um, and Eyre Peninsula Mayor is calling on South Australian governments to unalive sharks involved in incidents, but one expert says such actions will not prevent further attacks. There has been 6 incidents in South Australia in the past 8 months. Three of those have been fatal. In the most recent incident, 64-year-old teacher Murray Adams suffered a leg injury after he was attacked by a shark while surfing 200 metres offshore near Allison, which is on the west coast in South Australia. Allison region was also the site of a fatal incident last May when a 46-year-old teacher, Simon, was believed to have been attacked while surfing at Walker's Rock Beach. The District Council of Allison passed a motion in November calling for Purser to terminate a shark if it had unalived a human. Allison Mayor Andrew McLeod said the rate of shark incidents was alarming and had to be addressed by the state government. If fishery officers were unable to attempt to terminate a shark following an incident, that would be a targeted approach. Trying to terminate the shark responsible for the attack would not risk the survival of the species as a whole, Mr. McLeod said. He hopes to gather support from other councils in South Australia to lobby the government. The local council has also considered erecting signage at boat launching facilities, directing water users to clean fish on land and not in the ocean to avoid attracting sharks. So there's also talk about putting trackers on the great whites themselves. Now, in the eastern states of Australia, I do know that they do track sharks. They put a tracker on the great whites or tiger sharks, and they do have these buoys that are off of populated beaches, which you can actually capture the signal from the sharks. And there's an actual shark app you can have on your phone where it alerts you when a shark is nearby. I think that's what they're talking about doing here in South Australia as well. But most of these shark or fatal shark incidents that have taken place in the last 8 months, the 3 of them are in pretty isolated areas in South Australia where a lot of surfers are surfing. I can't think of any fatal attacks in metropolitan beaches, but there have been some attacks that some swimmers has occurred, not fatal, but have caused injury, of course. So that's the topic at the moment here in South Australia, and I think obviously we're coming to the end of summer here, and obviously for me personally, the last probably 8 months, it has been like all over the news about shark incidents that have taken place here in South Australia. So it has been a little bit unusual. I can't remember the last fatal in South Australia. Would have been a few years ago. So to have 3 within, or especially 2 within a few weeks of each other, and one probably mid last year, it is a little bit unusual. And all these fatals have been surfers as well. The second tragedy from regional school. About 1,000 people live in and around the town of Allison, which is roughly 7 hours west of Adelaide. Mr. Adams is a teacher at a local Allison area school. So this is the one I think May last year. Um, just go through. Mr. McLeod said students who, some of whom were out surfing during last year's incident. It's really difficult to estimate how hard it's been for the kids at the school to have one of their teachers lost through a shark incident, and now another one severely wounded due to another shark attack, he said. For Mr. McLeod's 9-year-old daughter, it was a moment of deja vu when she heard the news of the shark incident on her favourite teacher, Mr. Adams. My heart kind of sank. I didn't really know. I just got a weird feeling with Mr. B, and I just got the same feeling again, he said. Mr. McLeod, who himself was knocked off his surfboard by a shark in Allison in 2014, said some local surfers do not feel safe entering the water anymore. He said it was a serious concern for town residents, many of whom live there to surf or dive. Now, I have heard in recent years that a lot of abalone divers and surfers and fishermen out of the western area are saying that there is a large boom of great white sharks increase. There's apparently lots more sightings than normal in those areas. So we'll keep going on with the story. I think that things are becoming increasingly risky for water users, particularly on the Eyre Peninsula. It's definitely playing on everyone's minds, he said. He said that the caution has extended to some surfers who have been avoiding the area following the attacks. There's definitely been a drop in the amount of tourists that have been coming here to surf, and that does have an impact on the local businesses here, Mr. McLeod said. Now we'll go on to a marine biologist. You'll never know if you've got the one that's responsible. Marine biologist and head of the shark lab at California State University, Chris Lowe, said killing a shark responsible for an attack would not stop future incidents. You could go out and kill a bunch of sharks and you will never know if you got the one which is responsible. There is no real justice at that point, Mr. Lowe said. If you look at all the places where sharks control has been used successfully, you're talking about hundreds, if not thousands, of sharks to do that. In the process of doing that, you kill lots of other things too, which means you're going to have effects. Mr. Lowe said it would be possible to create a more comprehensive list of great white sharks in South Australia by tagging them. So this is what I mentioned about tagging the white sharks in South Australia and releasing their location to the public, but said that still had limitations. You can't really use it as an early warning system because we just don't know how many sharks are out there. Now, their peninsula, the Great Australian Bight, the west coast, there'll be a massive population of white sharks out there. Especially we're coming up to April, and in April time we got the southern right whales and the humpback whales. They'll start to migrate north, and that draws in more sharks as well. You can use where are we? Premier Peter Malakaskis said on Thursday that any response to shark attacks needed to be science-based. It is a really big challenge because we've seen shark attacks along our far west coast of South Australia and then going all along our coast to the more southeast of our state. We've got a task force that we've set up in conjunction with PIRSA to look at the science to make sure that's what informs our policies in the future, he said. So there's heaps of stories at the moment. This one's back from January, but I'm seeing it pop up every now and then. So there's a few there. I'll link some of these stories if you want to have a read of them yourself. So like I said before, I'm totally against this. And I'm pretty sure some of these surfers are too. Like this, they're going into the water where these sharks are. If you're familiar with these waters, you know, there's no way in hell I would even step a foot in these waters. These are sharky waters. So yeah, I don't know what you want them to do, but I'm totally against this anyway. So like I said, I'll drop a link down below for these stories. You can have a read for yourself. Drop a comment down below and let me know what your thoughts are and how to solve this problem. But I think, yeah, um, yeah, I don't know how they're going to solve this problem. But they're in the water, and you take a risk to go in the water, especially in these areas. Anyway, guys, thanks for tuning in. Hopefully, I can be back with a few more videos in the next few days. Drop a comment down below, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next video.